Hi there, and welcome back to the HT2 channel. In today's video, you are going to learn about the importance of emergency response planning and the testing of said plans. So get ready because here we go. Welcome back. The single most important thing to emergency preparedness and business continuity planning is life safety. You must ensure the safety of your team from all hazards, and the best way to do that is to keep a robust emergency response plan. The emergency response plan is basically boiled down to the actions taken in the initial minutes of an emergency. The better these plans are known and tested, the better they will be implemented. Now take a moment to ask yourself, do your colleagues know what to do in the event of a fire or earthquake? If you are unsure if they know what to do, then the time is now to revisit or create your plans. Then make sure to educate them on the procedures and conduct multiple mandatory, yes, I said mandatory drills over the course of the year. It is critical that everyone participate in the education and testing of the plans, including upper management. Over the course of my career, I have been invited into many homes and hundreds of organizations to help them with the development, education, and testing of said plans. I was continuously dumbfounded by the lack of participation of the so-called higher-ups in many organizations. Attorney firms were probably the worst offenders, which I get. However, imagine the chaos that will occur when those same critical personnel to a firm have no idea what to do when they are confronted with an actual emergency. So once you have developed your emergency response plans, make sure to educate your staff on the plans and their specific roles. Afterwards, test the plans. There are many ways to test your plans through various activities. You could conduct a drill, a tabletop exercise, a functional drill, or participate in a full-scale exercise. A drill is the simplest means to test your plans, and if you are a business that occupies space in a larger complex, then those drills are likely planned and executed by the property managers. If not, then take it upon yourselves to develop and execute your own drill. We would recommend that you conduct at least 2 fire drills and 1 earthquake drill every year. If you want to go even deeper, you could test your plans with a tabletop exercise. Tabletop exercises are discussion-based sessions where team members meet in an informal classroom setting to discuss their roles during an emergency and their responses to a particular emergency situation. A facilitator guides participants through a discussion of 1 or more scenarios. The duration of the tabletop exercise can vary, and it will depend upon the audience, the topic being exercised, and the exercise objectives. Many tabletop exercises can be conducted in a few hours, so they are cost-effective tools to validate plans and capabilities. Functional exercises allow personnel to validate plans and readiness by performing their duties in a simulated operational environment. Activities for a functional exercise are scenario-driven, such as the failure of a critical business function or a specific hazard scenario. Functional exercises are designed to exercise specific team members, procedures, and resources. For example, communications, warning notifications, and/or equipment setup. A full-scale exercise is as close to the real thing as possible. It is a lengthy exercise which takes place on location using as much as possible the equipment and personnel that would be called upon in a real event. Full-scale exercises are conducted by public agencies. They often include participation from local businesses. We would encourage you to develop your exercise program along with your emergency response plans. Start smaller with the drills and build up to the functional exercises. As your program matures, you may consider reaching out to local emergency management officials to determine if there is any opportunity to participate in a full-scale exercise within your community. The following excerpt gives credence to our recommendations. As reported by the BBC, an article by Michael Bond titled, "How to Survive a Disaster" was published on January 26, 2005, and I quote, "One of the most graphic examples of crowd passivity in recent times occurred in New York's Twin Towers after the hijacked planes hit them on 9/11. You'd have thought those who survived the initial impact would have headed for the nearest exit pretty quickly. Most did the opposite. They prevaricated. Those who eventually got out waited 6 minutes on average before moving to the stairs, and some hung around for half an hour, according to a study by the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology. Unprepared for what was happening to them, they either carried on as normal or hung around to see what would happen, waiting for others to move first. One study found that half of those who survived delayed before trying to escape, making phone calls, tidying things into drawers, locking their office doors, going to the toilet, completing emails, shutting down their computers, changing their shoes. One woman, accustomed to bicycling to work, even returned to her office to change into her tracksuit before trying to leave. However, not all the occupants in the towers did the same, thanks to Rick Escorla. Escorla was the head of security for Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, the largest tenant in the World Trade Center, which occupied 20 floors in 2 World Trade Center, stretching up to the 74th floor. Escorla was former military and had predicted a bomb attack on the World Trade Center 3 years prior to the 1993 occurrence, and had written a letter to the Port Authority prior encouraging greater security for the parking garage, which did not occur. He had tried to institute drills to no avail prior to the attack. On the day of the 1993 bombing, he had to shout at the traitors, hand them flashlights, and direct them out of the building. Afterwards, and perhaps most impressive of all, he began running frequent and surprise fire drills where he directed people to evacuate down the stairwells 2 by 2 and made sure that highest floors evacuated first. As the last employees from a higher floor reached the one below, employees from that floor would fall behind. Now remember for a moment, Morgan Stanley is an investment bank with millions of dollars being traded, and bankers who did not appreciate being interrupted to participate in this drill or any drills. These drills took them away from their phones and computers, costing the company money each time. Escorla didn't care, as he knew that repeated drills were the best way to train the brain to perform under stress. On the morning of 9/11, Escorla heard an explosion and saw the fire coming from the first tower. The Port Authority made an announcement over the PA system and informed people to remain at their desks. Escorla did the exact opposite. He grabbed his bullhorn, walkie-talkie, and cell phone and began ordering Morgan Stanley employees to evacuate. Of the 2,700 employees in the second tower, only 13 Morgan Stanley employees perished, including Escorla, who had last been seen on the 10th floor, heading back up to find any people remaining. So, testing your emergency response plans are really that important. And in these current times, you must protect your company's most valuable asset, its staff. Note that employers are responsible for providing a safe workplace, even when the said employees are working from home. Now is the time to encourage your remote operating staff to develop their emergency response plans for home, and then ensure that they perform a family drill to include how you will get out with at least 2 means of exit from each room. And then, where do you congregate once you're outside? So, in closing, remember, drills are so important because they make survivors from disasters. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you walked away with a learned moment and that you will take that learned moment and educate your family and/or staff on your emergency response plans, and then further teach the proper response through drilling. Remember to like us, share us, and subscribe to our channel so that you are the first to know when we launch our next video. And of course, if you need help with your plans, you know how to reach us. just leave a comment below. We'll get back to you.